All right, let's take a look at our new lesson, 9-7, and we are going to focus in on fractions and length. Here we have a picture of a necklace. It's a beaded necklace, and we have some beads that are blue and some that are green. And we're going to see how we can measure the length of this in fractions. Below it is a fraction strip. Okay, it's basically a rectangle strip. And as you can see, this strip has been broken up into, and if you can notice the denominator is an 8. The denominator of a fraction tells you how many equal parts there are in a whole thing. In this case, we have a whole fraction strip, which would measure one whole necklace. So we have 8 equal parts, so they're all in eighths. 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Add that all up together, you have 8 eighths. So let's take a look at what would be the fraction, the length of the blue beads in the necklace. What's the length in fractions compared to the whole necklace? Well, it looks like each one of these beads is an eighth. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could say the length of the blue beads of the entire necklace is 5 eighths. 8 equal parts. 5 of those parts are blue. 5 eighths. Now let's take a look at the green beads. The green beads take up 1, 2, 3 of the eighths. So we could say the length of the necklace that is not blue is 3 eighths. And if you notice, the numerators of both of these, when you add them together, 5 plus 3 equals 8, which means it's all of the beads in the necklace, the entire thing. All right, let's take a look at our guided practice section for 9-7 on page 232. The first problem shows you two fraction strips. The first one is has not been divided up into anything but one part. And that's why we have the big number 1 there. It's one whole. Let's say it's a 1 candy bar. We want to know what fraction of the length is shown. And so down here, we have a fraction strip. And it looks like it's broken up into smaller chunks here. But if you notice, it doesn't go all the way to the end. There's a portion missing. We want to find out, well, how far is this? So if we were to go from here all the way to here, out of this, what fraction is that? Well, let's take a look. This is the same piece, but it's divided up into, and as you can see on the denominator, eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way to here is 6 eighths. So we have 6 eighths right here. Then I could ask you, well, what length is not shown? Well, if we know there's 8 pieces, because that's what the denominator says, there should be 8 pieces, and 6 of them are shown, we're missing 2 pieces, right? Right here. So what's not shown are 2 eighths. Okay. Now let's take a look at number 2. This time we're shown a fraction strip. Here's our full fraction of one whole candy bar. And here is the portion that we're looking at of this whole. And looks like now, look at the denominator, denominator, it has a 6. So that tells me that we were to divide this whole up into 6 equal parts, or sixths. Well, how much of this is shown here? What's the length? So if we were to go from here all the way to here, how much is that? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 out of the 6 pieces as the length. So we could say there's 5 sixths. And what's missing? What length is not shown? Well, it looks like there's one piece that was not shown, right? And that could be 1/6. Because if you add 5 and 1 together, you get 6. We'd have 6 out of 6 pieces to make one whole. All right, we're going to skip number 3 and go right to number 4 in guided practice. And this is asking you what fraction of the ribbon length below is green. Okay, so here's our ribbon, and the entire ribbon goes from here to here, but we want to know what the length is that's green. Well, we have some fraction strip below us, and looking at this fraction strip, I want you to tell me what's the length of the ribbon that's green using the fraction strip below. Pause the video, see if you get it, come on back, and we'll see if we do it the same way. All right. Hopefully you looked at this and you said, all right, this looks like there's a third here and a third here. The denominator is a 3. So that tells me that the entire ribbon has been broken up into thirds, and the green portion of it looks like it has 1/3 plus 1/3. So that gives me 2/3. Well, now the question is, what fraction of the ribbon length is not green? That would be this portion right here. Pause the video, figure out what that is, and then come on back. All right. Well, if this is 2/3, the denominator tells you that the entire piece is broken up into thirds. That means there has to be 3 total pieces to make one whole. And if 2 of them have already been taken up here, there's only 1 left. So this missing piece would be a third also. So the non-green is 1/3. Because if we add these two together, 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 3/3. 3 pieces.